Hello guys and guys, welcome back to another tutorial here on Tuesdays. Today I'm going to show you guys how you can make your facecam go from looking like this to make it look like this. Alright, so before we get started, I'm going to go over a list of things that you're going to need before we start the tutorial. As you noticed, I turned off my facecam. That's just so you guys can see around the screen better. I don't normally record facecam with my tutorials just because they take up space and you guys need to see the entire screen. So that's that. But what you're going to need for this tutorial is obviously a video with facecam on it. If you don't know how to do videos with facecam on them, check out Mirrorless Action. It's a recording program that does it all for you while you're recording, and you don't need to go and place it in your footage with an editing program or anything like that. It's just there inside your video. So that's what I'm going to be using. But also you're going to be needing an image editing program like Photoshop, Paint.net, Gimp. Please don't use Paint. But you're gonna need something of those sorts to sort of make your facecam overlay for your videos, and I'm gonna be using Photoshop for this tutorial. So just if you want to follow along with me exactly, you can go get Photoshop from Adobe if you so please. Anyways, let's get started. So you're gonna want to open up your video, and you're just gonna wait till your facecam's there, and then you're gonna pause it. And you're gonna make it full screen or whatever. I'm just gonna make mine full screen right like that. But before I do, I'm gonna need to open up a screen capping program like in Windows. If you have Windows 7 or above, it comes with a free screen snipping tool. It's called I think it's called Snipping Tool. Yeah. So I'm just going to search for that, and we'll open up the snipping tool little application right here, and you just want to keep that open for the time being. I'm going to go slide it over to my second screen here so I can have it open while I do. Actually, I'll just keep it in the same window. Basically, the idea here is to take a screen cap of your video so you can have an image of your video. Sounds confusing, but it's pretty straightforward. So I'm just going to get it to a nice size. You just don't want it to be too small. So I'm gonna get it to be as big as it can get where I can see this as well, and I'm gonna click new, and I'm just gonna go ahead and line that up. Make sure you do line it up pretty much perfectly. If it's off by a tiny bit, it won't matter too much, but if it's off, it'll cause a little bit of problems later. So just do it as exact as you can. If it's like 1 pixel off, there's no need to worry, but just do it to the best of your ability. And as you can see there, I have a screen cap of my video. So you're going to want to go and save that to, like, say, your desktop. Boom, capture. Done. So that saved that as a little image, and we're basically good to move on to the next part. Now, if you're not on Windows, or you're like on Windows XP or something that doesn't have the snipping tool, there are lots of good alternatives. On your keyboard, there's usually a print screen button, like Alt Print Screen. If you don't have that on your keyboard, you can also download a program like Guyazzo or some other screen snipping program, and you'll be able to snip your screen and get that little image of your video. So that's that. Once you have this sort of saved, you can go back to Photoshop or Paint.net or Gimp or whatever you're using, and you're going to want to go open that image. You can go to File, Open, and then you can find your image, but I'm just going to drag it in. Oop, there we go. So that's going to start a new image project with our facecam in it. So basically the idea here is that we're going to be overlaying a sort of like a border image on top of your face in your facecam. So first of all, we're going to make sure that this image is the same size as the videos that you record and edit. So in order for that to happen, you need to go to image size, and then you need to go see whether you record your videos and edit them in 720p or in 1080p. And for me, I record and edit my videos in 1080p, so I'm going to do 1920 by 1080. Oh, If these numbers don't match up when you do them, like 1920, it changes this one and vice versa. You want to unclick that, and that'll just like do it. So 1080. There you go. So 1920 by 1080. Now, if you were recording and editing in 720p, you do 1280 by 720, and you basically do that. So mine's 1920 by 1080, and now it's the appropriate size. So now we're ready to begin the process of making the border around our face cam. So you're going to want to create a new layer on top, and once you've created a new layer on top, you can start drawing and like doing stuff, but it won't affect the image down below. That's the beauty of doing it on a separate layer. It won't damage the image below it. And also you can remove the image behind it, and you'll still have your lines here, which is handy. So anyways, that was irrelevant. For this, we're just going to be doing a few things. First, we're going to be making our border around the face cam. That will look nicer than no border, assured. So basically, I'm going to go like a few pixels out of the edge of my face cam. I'm going to zoom in so you guys can see better here. That is a wonderful face of mine. So I'm going to go select like a few pixels out. Oh, that's my circle selection tool. I'm going to click and hold on that and do my rectangular. So I'm going to go ahead and go a little bit outside my face cam. Make sure it's even all the way around. And once you're done dragging, you can let go. Oh, I do have a feather on my selection, so I'm going to go put my feather down to 0. Let's try this for the third time. Hopefully the third time is the charm. And there we go. Alright, so now we have that selected. Now I'm going to want to make an inner selection, but if I start to make an inner selection now, it'll just get rid of the one I already have. So to avoid that, I'm going to click and hold Alt on my keyboard, and I'm going to go a little bit inside this time and do a rectangle inside. Make sure it's even all the way around, and boom. Now we have a selection that only encompasses the edges here. It only encompasses the border. It does not go inside, and it does not go outside. So we have successfully selected the border area. So now I'm going to go ahead and fill that border area with whatever color I want. This will be the final color of your border, so just pick a color that you like. You can change it later, but it's nice to pick the right color now, just to simplify things. So let's actually, I want to experiment around. Let's go with an orange. And then I'm going to hit my fill bucket. If you don't see the fill bucket there, just click and hold. You may be on the gradient tool, so just select the paint bucket tool. And then click in that inside there. So now you have your border. Doesn't look too spectacular yet. So basically, we're going to want to add a few effects to it. First, I want to name this layer border. Border. That'll keep things organized. And you just verify that it's on the other layer by toggling its visibility. Make sure that it's not on the layer below. And we're going to want to add some effects to it. So I'm going to start off with a drop shadow. It's a classic, and it makes everything look beautiful. So I'm just going to fiddle around with it. There's no correct value, like I have to say so many times in my tutorials. Just fiddle around with it, and you'll find the perfect setting. And then I like to add an inner glow. It's a little bit strong. I'm going to bring down the size and the opacity as well. So that gives it kind of a shaded feel. And I think I'll go for a gradient overlay. I'll bring the scale all the way down, and then the opacity I'll shrink. And that'll give it a nice sort of shadowed look. As you can see, it's looking a billion times better. Well, not exactly, but you get what I'm getting at. I think the inner shadows or the inner glow is a little bit too strong. I'm gonna bring that down just a little bit. Maybe the size, yeah, the size was a little bit too strong as well. There we go. Beautiful. That looks amazing. So anyways, next up, we're going to add some text down below here. This is optional, of course, although I have it on mine. I think it looks nice. So I'm gonna go to my text tool. I'm gonna create a new layer first. Let's call it text. Create a new layer, grab my text tool, and then I'm going to, whoa, that is really big. Wow, okay. Let's make the size something like 30. Is that appropriate? Yeah. And the guy or die. I think 30 was almost perfect. Yeah, almost perfect. Let's bring it down. Something like that. And I'm just gonna go search for a better font. I mean, this one looks okay, but pick a better one. I'm gonna go white on it. I'll just cycle through it. See what I can find. Let me make these all caps. Just a little pet peeve. Cool. So I'm just gonna cycle through some fonts. I'm not gonna take too long because this is just a tutorial and example. But I want to find a nice one. That one looks okay. I want it to be a thick font. Thin's not gonna work well for what I'm going for here. So that one looks okay. Obviously, you're probably gonna want to find like a better font, but this one looks okay for tutorial purposes. I don't know which one, what font I currently have on my face cams now, but that's okay. So anyways, there we go. That is the text, and then I'm gonna hit Control T on my keyboard, and I'm just gonna stretch it up a little bit because, you know, why not? And there you go. So you have your text. Let's go ahead and make this fancy as well. We're gonna go through the same techniques as we did for the border. I'm gonna go ahead and add a color overlay. I'm gonna pick my color here. Let's cycle through. I don't want to go blue, that would look awkward. Maybe that sort of color right here. Maybe light. Alright, there we go. And then a gradient overlay. Ooh, that's being canceled out by the cover overlay. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and do something different. I'm gonna go select my text tool and then click on the text. I'll select it, and I'm gonna change the color up here to the color I was looking at. Right. It's kind of a workaround. There we go. So check up there. Now I'm gonna go ahead and do my stuff. Drop shadow. I'm gonna add that. Drop shadows are always amazing. Outer glows work too. Drop shadows are kind of my go-to, but you can use outer glows as well. Let's go for a gradient overlay. Scale all the way down and bring my opacity down. That's gonna kind of give it that beveled look. And then I'm gonna go for an inner glow. Bring that size down, opacity down, size up maybe just a little bit. There you go, something like that. And that's looking pretty cool. So obviously it's not looking the best because I didn't have that much time to spend on it because it's just a tutorial. But I wanted to show you guys pretty much the basics. There was a few more things that I did on my Facecam now, so I'm going to go ahead and do those. Below the border, I'm going to create a new layer below it. You can drag these around just so you can order them, FYI. So I'm going to go ahead and do something here. I'm going to go ahead and select my elliptical selection tool, and I'm going to select something like that. Right. Oh, did I do that? No, I didn't do that backwards. Alright, and I'm going to go ahead and take my rectangle tool. I'm going to hold Alt on my keyboard and just sort of get rid of these outlying selections here. I'm gonna... Oop. That's kind of going outside, but it's okay. I'm gonna get rid of the selections outside. Oop, did I do this wrong? I'm trying to think here. Yes, I may have. Okay. Control Z. Let's get our original ellipse back. Alright, I'm gonna hit Control Shift I to invert the selection. You see how it inverts it now? So I'm gonna invert it. Now I'm basically going to use my rectangle selection tool, hold Alt, and just restrict it to right here. Alright, let go of Alt on your keyboard, and now you'll see we just have this part selected right here. There's a little bit left over. I'm gonna get rid of that. So the goal of that was to select this bottom part right here. I'm gonna go ahead, grab my fill bucket tool. I'm going to get a black color here, and I'm gonna fill that with the black color. I'm gonna bring down the opacity, and that's gonna give that a beveled look as well. This is optional, of course, although I think it looks nice. Although if it's too big, it kind of gets distracting, so I'm gonna bring it down. I did Control T to bring that up, by the way. So that kind of gives it kind of another beveled look here. You can mess around with the opacity to see what works best. Also kind of like draws your attention away from like the bottom areas and more towards the face a little bit, which I think is a great idea. Alternatively, you can add like a vignette around the edge to darken the sides, but I'm not going to get into that. I'm sure if you're experienced with Photoshop, you can figure out how to do that. It's basically just darkening the corners of this area and going through that. I guess I could show you right now, but I don't know. I don't want to make this tutorial too long. So basically that's it. What you're going to want to do is remove the visibility of your actual starting image here with the actual footage. You're going to want to remove the visibility of that. Just going to take one last look at it. Looks pretty nice. Any changes? Nope. Alright. So remove the visibility of that, and you're going to save this. I'm just going to save it as a Photoshop file first. So I'm going to name it as Overlay. Boom. Now I'm going to hit Control Shift S to save it again, and this time I'm going to save it as a PNG. It's important you save it as a PNG and not a JPEG or any other image type, because a PNG keeps all this area that we haven't worked on transparent, which means we can overlay it and you'll be able to see your footage from behind, and the only stuff you'll be able to see is your nice little overlay right here. So I'm going to save that as a PNG on my desktop, or somewhere else of your choice. It doesn't really matter. And I'm going to go ahead and look at it right here. So if you open it, it's basically just me like that, and then you'll have your thing in the corner. Basically, what you're going to do next is take your footage, your video, and you're going to drop it in your video editing program. I like Adobe Premiere, but you can use Sony Vegas. What else? I don't know. Whatever other video editing program you want that supports multiple tracks. And you'll basically drop your video on the lower track, and then you'll put your overlay image on the track above it, and it will overlay on top of your video, resulting in this. And you'll be able to render it out, and you'll be all good. Basically, it's just putting this, it's basically putting this picture on top of your video, resulting in this. So that's pretty much the whole concept. That's how I did it. So if you guys enjoyed this tutorial, make sure to hit that thumbs up button. It really helps out and shows me that you guys appreciate the tutorials and stuff like that. Make sure to share it with your friends as well, because I'm sure if you found it helpful, they will too. And I'd like to help a whole bunch of people out with this tutorial. I know this isn't something that is like, I don't know. I haven't seen too many tutorials on this, so hopefully I get to educate some peoples. And with that said, I'll see you guys in the next tutorial next Tuesday here on my channel. And see you guys then. Peace out.